Hello and welcome to Back to the Future, the show where we talk about movies past, present, and future. And one of our favorite things to do on this show is go back to the past. We go back 30 years to look at movies that came out in theaters. This week, we're doing The Lost Boys.
This is heavy duty, Doc. This is great.
Now, The Lost Boys is an 80s cult classic. It is, a lot of people's favorite vampire movie that's ever existed. It is prime Kiefer Sutherland, and it might be the best movie with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. It has the Coreys. That's how 80s this movie is. And I have to say, going back and watching The Lost Boys, I had quite a bit of fun.
I did have a lot of fun with it, too.
It definitely has a lot of energy and a pace to it. I think that, the one thing I'll definitely say is that it makes every night in the it makes it look like every night in the 80s was just fucking bitching.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming they said bitching. Tell me in the comments.
I don't know.
But no, that every night just seemed awesome. It seemed like everybody was having fun. And actually, you know what me and my roommate said about it? We're just like, it's probably because they didn't have cell phones. Yeah, it's probably because this is before the internet. Anyway. So all these people are having this great time outside. Well, a roving gang of bikers, some teenage bikers, roll into town, creating havoc. Legend is that Santa Clara is the murder capital of the world? Or do they say the U.S.? I'm not 100%.
I think they said the world, I think.
So this is apparently all this dark, dastardly stuff is going on. There's some of these street toughs. Well, it turns out that they are vampires. Really, it's pretty basic from there. There on out, a new family moves into town, and the oldest son goes and joins the vampires while the youngest decides to hunt them with some of the comic book nerds from down the road.
Basically the Goonies, but for teenagers. That's kind of how I felt watching it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Maybe it's just Feldman's bandana there that really has the callback as well.
Well, the Goonies wasn't that much earlier than this.
Like I said earlier, this is some prime Coreys right here. The hair, the voices,
it's like
the wardrobe, especially on Corey Haim in this movie. There is some straight up weird things that he's wearing.
This movie is directed by Joel Schumacher as well, and this was actually my first time watch with The Lost Boys.
Oh wow!
Yep, this was a first time watch. And I totally get why he was hired for Batman Forever now. It totally makes sense.
This man made Batman Forever.
Bats, nipples, and just kind of like that atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, it has muscles and rock and roll and sexy teenagers and motorcycles. It is just 80s fun cheese. Jason Patrick, as I said, he joins up with these vampires. He's a biker himself. Apparently, he joins up because he's leering at a woman from across a concert that involves the most awesome person to ever be the frontman of a band, covered in oil, ripped as hell, playing a saxophone, and he's got a ponytail. Not a man bun, you millennial bastards, a ponytail. Because that's what a man does. He oils up and he has a ponytail. This is just only things that can happen in The Lost Boys.
I'm speechless.
Oh man, no, this is one of those movies that you just have to look around and just chew up the scenery and just enjoy how 80s this movie is.
Yeah, there's definitely some fun stuff going on in this movie. I really love the scene where they're like messing with him when he's like eating the Chinese food.
Oh yeah.
And they just makes him hallucinate and see these different things that he's eating. I thought that scene was a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in this film. Mm-hmm. And some of the vampire lore. I have yet to see a truly remarkably great vampire movie. I feel like, Bram Stoker's Dracula is really good. I enjoy that movie. Interview with the Vampire is another film that it's probably my favorite vampire film. Probably. I don't know. There's not tons of vampire movies out there. What's your favorite vampire movie?
I would have to pick maybe Fright Night.
Fright Night's good too.
Interview with the Vampire. Those are both good picks, solid picks.
Fright Night is really good. I totally get it though if people like Lost Boys if they think it's the best vampire movie. Like, I understand why somebody would, especially if they grew up with this movie, because I think it is aimed. For me, I felt like it was aimed at a younger audience. For sure.
I think it's definitely maybe for some teens, preteens, younger people. I mean, just anybody that's going to be turned on by Jason Patrick with his hair permed like that.
Yeah. If you want to understand the characters of the two brothers, too, have you seen Jurassic World? It's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much. The older one is really horny, and that usually just sort of drives his decision.
And the younger one's a total nerd. Works out.
It's just about the same.
They felt the same, at least. And,
Yeah.
and the development put into them felt the same.
The leering was the same. Nothing works better than that in movies, apparently. Following people and staring people. Kids, don't try this at home. But anyway, I digress. So, we already talked about kind of the tone and the atmosphere and some of these characters. What do you think about the actual performances of some of these actors, though?
It's all serviceable. For the most part. I mean, there's some bad stuff in there, too.
I gotta say, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, man, there's a reason they don't have jobs anymore.
Oh, what are you talking about? Corey Feldman's like one of the best actors in the 80s. I've heard that before.
Anyway, no, I felt like Feldman and Corey Haim, their line delivery, it's always a bit meh.
Yeah.
You know, Jason Patrick I thought was especially meh.
I think it's
pretty bad.
I think it's serviceable though within the context of what's happening on screen. I think it just kind of makes for like what the movie is. All that much better.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, plus it's a Joel Schumacher movie. I mean,
no one was gonna make them act better.
George Clooney couldn't even deliver a line.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman. Anyway. Talking about the Lost Boys, though, I don't know. I felt like there was quite a few weak performances, especially, like I said, by the Coreys and Jason Patrick specifically. Now, Kiefer Sutherland, on the other hand, is charismatic as hell in this movie, and I'm sure there's a lot of young women who had some sort of sexual awakening from seeing him dressed like that.
I'm sure.
So he's part of the reason this is like a cult classic movie.
Yeah.
Is because of like just the imagery of him and him being this like sexy teen motorcycle vampire. I mean, that is I think a big part of what has kind of made this movie last so long. It really is the tone, and it's kind of like sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of attitude to a vampire movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. It's just one of those accessible movies for, I think, like a common audience at that time. And, it's just kind of lived on from there.
So beyond that, what did you think then? Because this is a horror movie. So what did you think of the effects and like the creature effects and everything like that?
Yeah, I was actually annoyed at the teeth placement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if that bothers anybody else or if I'm just really weird and OCD, but I felt like the canines are the next two teeth over, and these placements were like the second teeth. And I was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird. It's just a small thing, but something I was like,
really?
Why are the teeth? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's someone out there right now like going through some vampire like lore book telling me I'm wrong.
But it reminded me of a lot of things that were comparable of that era and a lot of other like vampire movies. I think you see it kind of come back in something like From Dusk Till Dawn, like that style of like vampire when they like show their true form and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that stuff looked comparable to stuff from the era. I didn't think it was any better or any worse than what you could have asked for, and especially as far as like what they use in the film. I think that when they do use effects, which I don't think is actually that much overall in this film, that I kind of really I think it looks pretty good. Yeah,
I mean they show a lot of like point of view shots or like people like running away from the camera. And I thought that kind of stuff was kind of cool. Like
it's almost
at least before they show the vampires, you just kind of have that suspense.
I like those big panning shots and stuff he has, like going over the water to like the roller coasters and stuff, and like you said, those POV shots when they're like attacking people. The movie has a lot of kinetic energy in that way, and I think that's one of the things that really benefits it. When you've got like people on motorcycles and hanging off of bridges and like doing a lot of stuff that it's an adrenaline rush kind of movie, and I felt like he filmed it appropriately. I think that really kind of helps them.
Like the dirt bike race, too, and like seeing him, just kind of like, he wants to keep up, he wants to be one of the guys, but, they're not a lot, they're dead.
They're still just fucking with him. But yeah, overall, I thought that the effects and the direction and stuff were all pretty good. I think the direction especially serves the movie really well, and I think it's one of the reasons it has lasted the test of time. So, all that being said, I think we've kind of gone over most of our thoughts here of The Lost Boys. John, what is your final summary and grade of The Lost Boys?
Well, this being my first time watch, I was mixed, I guess, in my viewing of it. I thought I was pleasantly surprised by certain things, but I was also let down by a few things. I think it is a very fun and kinetic and cheesy movie from the 80s. It definitely feels like something from that time period. I can see why it's lived on the way it has. I think it has great direction. It's got a fun soundtrack, but it does suffer from some bad acting and dialogue and all those things that go into that. But overall, not a bad experience with the movie, and I give The Lost Boys a C+.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see with The Lost Boys why this movie has stood the test of time. It is a very fun and energetic take on a vampire movie and just kind of fun teen horror in general. I think that for maybe a young person, this is kind of a perfect horror movie and honestly has some hilarious 80s imagery that sticks out in my mind. When I went to go sit down and rewatch this, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see Saxophone Guy. Before he watched it, I told him, look for the Saxophone Guy because he's just epic. So there's just a lot of fun cheese. Watching this movie, I had a lot of fun just poking fun at the movie, laughing with the movie. It's not something that you take too seriously. If you're looking for something really fun with a nice slice of horror, and you can stand Corey Feldman and Corey Haim delivering some dialogue, and also Jason Patrick along for the ride, I think you'll get through this and enjoy it. Definitely see why it's a cult classic, though. My final grade for The Lost Boys is going to be Saxophone Man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give it a B-. So that has been our review today of The Lost Boys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell us what you guys think in the comments of this cult classic. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's just funny to laugh at? And just tell us what you think the best vampire movie is as well if you want. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can find us on our Twitter at Back2Feature, and you can find us on Facebook at /Back2Feature. I've been Giovanni Carlo.
And I'm John Vanderloo.
And we hope to see you guys next time.